Look at me for a moment. Your phone can summon an invisible mind to write your paper, code your app, edit your voice, polish your resume, and schedule your life while you sleep. But hear me, as a father and a coach, it cannot build your character. Write this down. Technology changes, principles don't. Tweet that to somebody, post it, pin it. Because if you don't anchor your life to what does not change, the speed of innovation will become the speed of your collapse. Tools are neutral. They don't have morals, they have functions. A hammer can build a house or break a window. Artificial intelligence will not make you honest. It will only make you faster at whatever you already are. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals. So let me give you the thesis of this entire journey. Tools can assist your work, but only unchanging principles can protect your destiny. Principles are laws. They never adjust to your preferences. You can ignore a principle, but you cannot disagree with it. Write it down. If you violate a law, the law doesn't change, your outcome does. This is why the scripture speaks with such calm certainty. For I, the Lord, do not change. Malachi 3-6. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will never pass away. Matthew 24-35. The foundation does not update. God's word is the operating system of reality. Principles are not suggestions. They are statutes, fixed, permanent, dependable. When you build on them, storms don't destroy you. They certify you. Jesus said, everyone who hears these words of mine and puts them into practice is like a wise man who built his house on the rock. Why do we call letters characters? Think with me. Why didn't we call them moods or versions or updates? Because a character does not change. Write this down. A is always A at 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. in Africa or Asia, on a whiteboard or website. If you go to Tokyo at midnight, A is still A. If you text your friend in Toronto, A doesn't suddenly decide to become Q because the network is slow. That's why we call them characters. They are unchanging. And it's not only letters. Numbers are characters too. 1 is 1. 2 is 2. They don't attend your staff meeting and negotiate their identity. They don't update with the software. Your phone can go from version 14 to 15, but the digit one never releases a patch. Tweet that to somebody right now. Technology updates, truth doesn't. This is why math works in Mumbai and Miami. The symbols are faithful. They don't adjust under pressure. They remain themselves. Let me push the picture deeper. A statue does not change when the weather changes. The sun can blaze, the rain can beat, the wind can howl, and the statue remains in form. Heat does not melt its integrity. Cold does not shrink its identity. That's character. Character is your internal sculpture, carved convictions that do not bend with the climate of culture or the temperature of trending topics. Write it down. Character is integrity. Integrity means integrated oneness, not many faces, one face. Not many cells, one self. The scripture declares, hear, O Israel, the Lord our God. The Lord is one, Deuteronomy 6-4. Holiness is oneness. God is one, not many. He is the same. And you, made in his image, are called to be one, the same person everywhere, every time. So let me ask you a pastoral, uncomfortable question. Are you A at home and Z at work? Are you one on Zoom and another in the room? When the deadline tightens, do you update your ethics like an app, or do you remain a statue in a storm? Character is not your public persona. It is your private truth. Character is who you are at 2 a.m. when no one is watching and your browser says incognito. Write this down. Integrity is when your hidden life and your highlighted life are the same life. Now hear the bridge. If character is what never changes, then principles are the laws that demand such consistency. Let us hold their form because language has rules. Numbers hold their value because mathematics has laws. Your destiny holds when your soul holds to law, not legislation, but principle. Jesus Christ is the same yesterday and today and forever. Hebrews 13:8. That is why you can trust him, and that is why people must be able to trust you. Be a character in a world of edits. Be one. Listen carefully now. Principles are laws. They never change. You don't regulate them, they regulate you. You can put them on mute in your mind, but they won't go silent in your life. You can ignore a principle, but you cannot disagree with it. Write that down. If you violate a law, the law doesn't move, your life moves. The law stands like a mountain. Your outcome tumbles like a pebble. Let me show you how stubborn a law is. You can start a hashtag against gravity. You can tweet, post, and protest. Gravity is oppressive. But if you step off a 10-story building, sincerity will not suspend you. The pavement will not negotiate with your politics. Gravity does not hate you. Gravity is faithful to itself. That is why planes can fly and apples still fall. The law is fixed. So hear me as a father. Life's moral laws are no different. Do not be deceived. God is not mocked. Whatever a man sows, that he will also reap. Galatians 6-7. You can rename the seed, but you cannot rename the harvest. Here is the ethical parallel. You can justify deception as efficiency. You can baptize a lie with language like optimization, streamlining, or just a little help. But if the representation is false, the result is the same erosion of trust. Write it down. Consequences. Don't care about your intentions. You may get the grade, the client, the applause, but you just mortgage your credibility. Trust is a savings account. Deceit is a daily withdrawal with compound interest. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely, but he who makes his ways crooked will be found out. Proverbs 10-9. Found out by whom? By the law of consequences, by the gravity of reality. You can block people, you cannot block principles. You can archive the chat, you cannot archive the harvest. You can say, I didn't mean harm. The law replies, I don't process intentions, I process actions. That's why holiness is oneness, because fragmentation leaks. When you split your story, life will eventually publish the unedited version. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals the cracks that were already there. New power simply accelerates old patterns. So let me bring this to our era. Artificial intelligence is power like electricity. Electricity can light your city or burn your house. That's why we have insulation, breakers, and codes. Principles are your breakers. Character is your insulation. If the current of AI runs through a life without codes, the burn is inevitable. You can marvel at its speed, but if you strap speed to a crooked map, you only arrive at destruction faster. Therefore, if principles are fixed, then every new tool, every new platform, every new algorithm must submit to old laws. Image before dominion, codes before current, character before capability. Because violating the principle doesn't change the principle, it only changes where you land when you jump. Now let me take you to the blueprint. Then God said, let us make man in our image after our likeness and let them have dominion. Genesis 1:26. Notice the order. Image before dominion, nature before power, character before capability. Write it down. The order is the law. You can never disagree with the principle. If you reverse the order, you reverse your destiny. Dominion without prior character is not promotion, it is demolition. God did not trust Adam with rulership because he could name animals. He trusted him because he bore the image. The badge came after the likeness, not before. Power will kill you without character. Tweet that to somebody. Electricity without insulation burns houses. Money without morals bankrupts souls. Platform without purity ruins legacies. And AI, hear me, AI is scaled power. Scale multiplies who you are. If you are truthful, scale multiplies trust. If you are deceptive, scale multiplies damage. If your heart is crooked, algorithms will lay highways for your crookedness. Don't blame the road for the destination you chose. One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. AI is the much. Faithfulness is the little. Pass the small test before you plug into the big grid. Leadership is not your charisma, it is your character, not your code, your conscience, not your pitch deck, your private discipline. Gifts attract people, character keeps them. Talent opens doors, integrity keeps them from slamming on your fingers. That is why I tell my mentees, lead with your life. Write it down. Lead with your life. Before you deploy a tool, deploy your standards. Before you install the software, install your statutes. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Your heart is the settings menu of your destiny. Set it to truth. Lock it to honesty. Fix it to oneness. Let me pass you with a story. A young founder built a brilliant app. Investors loved his demo. He quietly let a model generate case studies and testimonials from people that did not exist. Synthetic smiles, synthetic names, synthetic praise. He told himself it's just marketing. The tool delivered contracts, but the contracts delivered scrutiny. One email exposed the phantom customers. Funding vanished in a week. The app didn't fail. The image did. The market punished not his innovation, but his inversion of order. Image before dominion. If the image is false, the dominion is fatal. So here's the directive. Establish your non-negotiables before you touch the keyboard. Honesty is my only policy. Transparency is my operating system. Attribution is my agreement. Use tech after you have set your standards. Never let a tool tempt you to trade your truth for a trend. We will draw the line in a moment. Enhancement versus substitution. Tool use versus deception. But fix the foundation now. God's pattern is permanent. Image before dominion. Character must lead technology, or technology will lead you to your own undoing. Lead with your life, then let your life license your power. Here is the line. Write it down. Ethical AI enhances your work. Unethical AI replaces your honesty. Tweet that to somebody. A tool that sharpens your effort is integrity. A tool that impersonates your effort is iniquity. Enhancement is a microphone for your voice. Substitution is a mask over your face. Lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. Proverbs 12:22. God delights in truth in the inward being. Psalm 51:6. So let me define integrity at its root. Hear, O family. Hear, O Israel. The Lord our God. The Lord is one. Deuteronomy 6:4. Holy means one, not many, not fractured, not versioned by circumstance. Write it down. Integrity is being the same person everywhere, one, not many. You were created in the image of the one. That is why holiness is oneness. When God says, be holy, for I am holy, 1 Peter 1:16, he is saying, be integrated, be unedited, be consistent under all weather. Character is self-imposed discipline to remain one under changing conditions. Tweet that to somebody right now. Self-imposed, not forced by surveillance, not managed by policies, not dependent on applause. Self-imposed. Discipline the quiet decision at 2 a.m. to be the same at 2 p.m. To be the same when you are praised and when you are pressed. To be the same when no one is checking your sources and when everybody is watching your story. Character is the same in the draft, the DM, and the deliverable. Character is the same in the room, on the Zoom, and in the resume. Character is the same when the algorithm favors you and when it forgets you. That is integrity. Let me confront you lovingly. There is no such thing as a private life. Write it down. In a pixel world, secrets travel at the speed of a screenshot. Nothing is hidden that will not be made manifest, nor is anything secret that will not be known and come to light. Luke 8:17. Your phone is an archivist. Your cloud keeps minutes. Your browser keeps receipts. The world you think is off the record is simply not yet published. So why fake what will be fact-checked by time? Live loudly. Live so loudly in your conscience that you can afford to live transparently in your culture. Be the same person in the draft, in the DM, and in the deliverable. Be the same voice when you're crafting, collaborating, and clicking send. This is why I bind myself with vows before I am bound by pressure. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Disclosure is my default. Write it down. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions so you never become a prisoner of your compromises. You can never disagree with this principle. Integration produces security. Fragmentation produces anxiety. A double-minded man is unstable in all his ways, James 1-8. Oneness stabilizes you. Duplicity destabilizes you. Now, let's verify that oneness. Because confession is cheap, conditions are costly. Oneness must be tested. And in every generation, the tests are the same: power, money, and access to sex. In the algorithm age, the packaging is new, but the pressures are old. We will take your integrity into those 3 rooms and see if you remain one. We are entering the 3 rooms now: power, money, access to sex. They are ancient, but in our generation, the hinges are greased by algorithms. Write it down. A is a magnify, a microphone, and a multiply. It does not invent your nature, it broadcasts it. AI magnifies the same 3 tests. It reveals who you already are. If you are whole, scale multiplies trust. If you are split, scale multiplies scandal. To whom much is given, much will be required. Luke 12:48. More reach, more requirement. More speed, more scrutiny. You can never disagree with this principle. Scale does not sanctify you, it exposes you. First, power. AI puts a stadium in your pocket. It can write your headline, edit your face, simulate your voice, summon an audience while you sleep. Without integrity, it scales your lies. One click can manufacture a crowd. One prompt can fabricate an expert. Are you strong enough to delete a viral post that isn't true? Will you correct a clip that flatters you but misleads your audience? Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Power is not evil, it is electricity. Character is your insulation. Write it down. Power does not corrupt. Power reveals corruption. If your convictions are thin, amplification will tear them. Second, money, fast content, fake credentials, shortcut profits. The algorithm pays in clicks. Your soul pays in installments. Are you for sale? Will you list AI-generated degrees you didn't earn? Will you sell an ebook you scraped and repackaged without honest attribution? Will you invoice for consulting that a model wrote while you slept, then sign your name as sole author? Dishonest scales are an abomination to the Lord. Proverbs 11:1. And hear the warning: the love of money is a root of all kinds of evil. 1 Timothy 6:10. Write it down. Shortcuts cut your character first, your profit second, and your future last. Third, sex. Deep fakes, DMs, hidden tabs. The old temptation now wears a push notification. Who are you at 2 a.m.? When a suggestive message arrives from a stranger whose avatar is engineered to match your fantasy, do you flee or do you flirt? Flee from sexual immorality, 1 Corinthians 6:18. Not manage, flee. Job said, I made a covenant with my eyes, Job 31:1. Make one. Delete the thread. Block the account. Shut the laptop. Remember, private clicks become public chains. Write it down. Lust is not entertainment. It is entanglement. And AI adds adhesive. So test yourself now. If a client offers a bonus to pad your metrics with bot followers, will you say, no, my name is not for sale? If a professor asks, did you write this? Will you disclose the assistance even if the grade drops? If a friend forwards a face swap clip, will you refuse to share what you cannot verify? Integrity is oneness under pressure. Honesty is my only policy. Tweet that to somebody. How do we pass these tests? We need an internal architecture stronger than any algorithm. Values must inform morals. Morals must instruct ethics. Ethics must produce character. Character must become lifestyle. I have stored up your word in my heart that I might not sin against you. Psalm 119:11. Install truth before you install tools. Set statutes before you set settings. The algorithm is wind. Principles are weight. Build the weight within, and the wind without will certify you, not scatter you. Now let's build the internal architecture. Why do people collapse under pressure? Not because they had no plans, but because they had no pillars. Write this down. Philosophy births values. Values produce morals. Morals inform ethics. Ethics shape character. Character becomes lifestyle. That is the cascade. That is the plumbing of your soul. If the top is contaminated, everything downstream is toxic. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he, Proverbs 23:7. Your belief system is the womb of your behavior. You do what you truly believe, not what you merely say. What is philosophy? It is your lens on reality, your convictions about God, truth, people, purpose. From that lens come values, which you have decided is valuable. Values then set your morals, what you call right and wrong. Morals become your ethics, how you apply right and wrong in specific situations. Repeated ethical choices harden into character, unchanging integrity under all weather. And character lived long enough becomes lifestyle, the visible rhythm of your days. Tweet this to somebody. Stable outcomes require a stable internal chain. If any link is weak, your results wobble. If values are absent, ethics are flexible. If ethics are flexible, character is fragile. If character is fragile, lifestyle is fickle. Here is a maxim I have taught leaders for years. Vision without values is destiny without discipline. Write it down. Vision is where you say you are going. Values are what you refuse to violate on the way. A compass without a backbone is just jewelry. Many have vision boards, few have value bonds. The board inspires, the bonds restrain. And restraint is the womb of greatness. Above all else, guard your heart, for everything you do flows from it. Proverbs 4:23. Guard what you believe so you can govern how you behave. Now let me bring it to our tools. Your prompts reveal your philosophy. Your outputs expose your ethics. Say it again. Your prompts reveal your philosophy. Your outputs expose your ethics. The question you feed a model is a mirror to your values. If the prompt is write my thesis, hide your help, your philosophy has already normalized deceit. If the output is published as solely your own, your ethics have endorsed it. Don't blame the tool for what your heart approved. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, Matthew 12:34. In the algorithm age, out of the abundance of the heart, the prompt speaks. So here is your assignment as a leader in this room. Take 10 seconds and write down 3 non-negotiable values to govern every digital decision. Write them down. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Consent is my boundary. You can add stewardship, transparency, courage. Make them yours. Post them by your screen. Recite them before you click. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions. You can never disagree with this principle. Self-imposed standards prevent externally imposed scandals. We will not stay philosophizing. We will examine the plumbing. Now, let's run moral stress tests to expose leaks in the cascade. Because if your belief system is sound and your values are clear, the test will certify you. If there is a crack, the test will reveal it. And better a revealed crack now than a catastrophic collapse later. Search me, O God, and know my heart. Test me and know my anxious thoughts. Psalm 139:23. Get ready. We are about to turn up the water pressure. Here come the diagnostics. We are going to lift the hood and test the pressure lines. Write this down. If the representation is false, the result is unethical regardless of convenience. Tweet that to somebody. God calls that lying, not leveraging. Therefore, having put away falsehood, let each one of you speak the truth with his neighbor. Ephesians 4:25. Convenience doesn't cleanse a counterfeit. Sweet talk cannot sanitize a forged signature. First scenario, the exam. The rubric says your original work. If you feed a model the prompt, paste the output, and submit without disclosure, that is not assistance. That is impersonation. You didn't enhance your effort. You replaced your honesty. You rented a brain and signed your name. That breaks the 9th commandment at a desk. You shall not bear false witness. Exodus 20:16. The witness you bore was, I wrote this. It was false. Don't baptize cheating with academic jargon. If the teacher evaluates your competence and you deliver another's labor as your own, you have lied about your identity. The standard is simple. If you cannot disclose it, you cannot do it. Write it down. Disclosure or do the work. Second scenario, the client deliverable. When someone hires you for your thinking, they are buying stewardship and judgment, not just sentences. If you consult a model to draft, disclose the assistance and retain responsibility. Put it in the agreement. We will use AI to ideate and draft. We will fact check, source check, and human verify. We bear liability for accuracy and originality. Your data will be protected. That is integrity in practice. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Better to lose a contract than to lose your name. Remember, the invoice carries your reputation. Don't let undisclosed automation invoice your conscience. Third scenario, the scholarship and the credential. Degrees, licenses, and certifications are promises to the public that you can perform. If a title certifies your competence, do not outsource the competence. Pass the exam in your head, not just on your transcript. Do your best to present yourself to God as one approved, a worker who has no need to be ashamed. 2 Timothy 2:15. AI can tutor you, it must not impersonate you. To wear the letters without the learning is to turn your diploma into deceptive packaging. And when the moment of demand comes, the truth will subpoena your skill. Now, the old temptation in a new rapper, I'll pay your mortgage if you compromise once. Today it sounds like, use this model to pass the board, no one will know. Or paste these synthetic testimonials and I'll cover your bills. Hear me, that is still a sale of your soul. Are you for sale? What does it profit a man to gain the whole world and forfeit his soul? Mark 8:36. One compromise purchases chains. Bread of deceit tastes sweet, but afterward his mouth will be filled with gravel. Proverbs 20:17. So we install bright lines now. Write them down. Transparency rules. Disclose assistance. Attribute sources. Honor agreements. Never represent as solely yours what was substantially produced by a tool. If you cannot publish your process, do not proceed. Let your contract, your syllabus, and your conscience say the same thing. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Disclosure is my default. Walk in the light, and trust will walk with you. Agreement first. Write it down. Obey the syllabus, the contract, the policy, because your word is your weight. A syllabus is not a suggestion, it is a covenant. A contract is not paper, it is a promise. Policy is the fence you agreed to respect before you entered the field. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That is character. That is leadership. If the agreement says original work, then original work it must be. If the scope says human review, then human review must sign the final page. Let your yes be yes. Matthew 5:37. Better to renegotiate an agreement in the light than to violate it in the dark. Ecclesiastes says it is better that you should not vow than that you should vow and not pay. Ecclesiastes 5:5. Pay your vows. Keep your word. Your name is the collateral. Now the disclosure formula. Treat this to somebody who helped, how they helped, what you verified. State it plainly. Assisted by model name, version for ideation, and first draft language. I personally verified facts, checked sources, ensured originality, and approved the final. Or I used tool to summarize transcripts. I reviewed the summary against the full recording and corrected errors. That is disclosure. Not vague, not buried, not defensive. If you cannot disclose it, you cannot do it. Write it down. Disclosure or do the work. Moreover, it is required of stewards that they be found faithful. 1 Corinthians 4:2. Faithfulness is transparent. Attribution is honor. Credit what you did not create. Data sets, models, libraries, images, research, give names, links, and licenses. Render to whom honor is due. Romans 13:7. The laborer deserves his wages. 1 Timothy 5:18. When you acknowledge sources, you dignify labor and you disinfect your conscience. Footnote the study, link the data set. Name the model and its version. If a colleague contributed analysis, put their name by the analysis, write it down. Attribution is not decoration, it is ethics. Now the audit principle, document your process. Act as if every log could be reviewed tomorrow. Log it, link it, label it. Keep prompts, versions, citations, review notes and red lines. Timestamp your checks. Screenshot your verifications. Save your cross references. Why? Because light is your ally. He will bring to light the things now hidden in darkness and will disclose the purposes of the heart. 1 Corinthians 4-5. Build for that day now. An auditable process is an anxiety-proof life. When your records speak, you don't have to scramble. Your integrity testifies. Here is the bridge. Trust grows when your process is as honest as your product. Write it down. People don't just buy outcomes. They buy how you arrive there. Disclosure breeds confidence. Attribution breeds respect. Agreements kept breed reliability. These are operating standards, not optional extras. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Disclosure is my default. Live so that if every step is published, your name is promoted, not prosecuted. This transparency is not bureaucracy, it is leadership. And leadership moves at the speed of trust. Listen to me as a father to a family. Trust is currency. Write it down. The foundation of trust is integrity. You can build skills in a semester. You build trust over seasons. You can download tools in a minute. You cannot download credibility. Your future travels at the speed of trust. Protect it. Tweet that to somebody right now. You can never disagree with this principle. Trust is the credit score of your character. When integrity deposits, your limit increases. When deception withdraws, the limit shrinks. And banks do not bend for beggars. They listen to history. So do people. Managers need reliability, not just resumes. A manager once told me, I don't hire tasks, I hire trust. Write it down. Your boss doesn't want just a deliverable, they want a dependable. They measure how you handle truth under pressure late on Friday, early on Monday, when the numbers don't flatter you. Professors need authenticity, not polished plagiarism. They recommend your name to rooms your feet have not entered, and they are staking their reputation on your reality. Parents need truth, because love without trust becomes supervision, not celebration. Pastors need integrity, because platforms without purity become scandals with microphones. These four employers, educators, parents, pastors, are stewards of doors. Integrity widens the hinges. Deception rusts them shut. Hear the consequence with fear and with hope. 5 seconds of deception can burn 5 years of credibility. One edited timestamp, one hidden prompt, one plagiarized paragraph, one falsified metric. 5 years of deposits evaporate in a moment of withdrawal. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22-1. Why? Because money can't buy back a burned bridge. Riches can rent applause. They cannot restore trust. Many a man proclaims his own steadfast love, but a faithful man who can find? Proverbs 20:6. Faithfulness is rare, which is why it is valuable. Write it down. Scarcity increases price. Integrity is scarce. Guard your name. Your name is your future employer's first reference. Before they call your referee, they Google you. Your name loads like a report. Either favor appears or flags appear. Do not sign anything your life cannot underwrite. Do not promise what your process cannot produce. Scripture and story agree. Let not steadfast love and faithfulness forsake you. Bind them around your neck so you will find favor and good success in the sight of God and man. Proverbs 3:3-4. I counseled a gifted analyst who used a model to fabricate a case study for a pitch. 5 minutes of applause, 15 minutes of discovery, 5 years of trust gone. The firm didn't fire his skill, they fired his signature. So here is the directive. Make your name heavier than your resume. Let people say, if she said it, it's settled. If he signed it, it's safe. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Disclosure is my default. Live so your mother can sleep, your professor can recommend, your pastor can endorse, and your manager can delegate without anxiety. Lead with your life, because your future travels at the speed of trust. Protect it. Look at Joseph. The room was private. The offer was secret. The pressure was real. Potiphar's wife pulled on his coat and whispered an opportunity that would never appear on Instagram. Joseph answered with a principle, not a feeling. How then can I do this great wickedness and sin against God? Genesis 39:9. Write it down. He refused in the dark what would sabotage him in the daylight. He chose prison over private pleasure. He protected image before he pursued dominion. And what was the result? The Lord was with Joseph, Genesis 39:2. And in time, Pharaoh said, you shall be over my house. Only as regards the throne will I be greater than you. Genesis 41:41. Elevation followed integrity. Image before dominion. You can never disagree with the principle. Now look at Samson. Born with announcement, marked with a vow, anointed with unusual strength. But gift without discipline is a grenade without a pin. He toyed with boundaries, dated deception, and treated consecration like a costume. Delilah asked for secrets. Samson sold them in installments. And then the most tragic sentence in leadership, he did not know that the Lord had left him. Judges 16:20. Power revealed the fracture that pleasure had formed. He didn't lose his eyes first, he lost his vows first. Character is self-imposed discipline. Write it down. When you refuse to govern yourself, life will govern you with chains. Samson died on the rubble he trained with compromise. Power did not corrupt him. Power exposed the corruption already inside. Tweet that to somebody right now. And now, the modern parable. An influencer, no names, no shaming, just a mirror, amassed 1 million followers in a year, viral reach, shiny edits, courses sold out. Behind the scenes, bots bought engagement, testimonials were synthetically generated, captions were ghosted by a model, and sponsors were wooed with metrics dressed in makeup. For a while, the numbers worked. Then a leak, screenshots of purchased followers, a shared prompt document, a whistleblower email. Overnight, sponsors vanished, platforms restricted, fans recoiled. The algorithm had given a megaphone. Integrity had kept the mute button closed. The fall was not caused by the crowd, it was caused by the crack. Power didn't corrupt, it broadcasted a duplicity that was already scripted in the heart. History rewards those whose character could carry their power. Write it down. Joseph's name still opens doors. Samson's name still warms bridges. The influencer saga is a sign on our highway. If your process cannot be preached, your platform is a trap. So what shall we do? We do what Joseph did before the throne, what Samson failed to do before the temptation. We bind ourselves to principle in advance. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions before pressure sentences you to the prison of your compromises. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Disclosure is my default. We will craft daily vows that hold us together when attention pulls us apart. Because image before dominion is not a slogan, it is survival. Now we bind ourselves, not with mood, but with vows. Write it down. When you vow a vow to God, do not delay paying it. Ecclesiastes 5:4. I have sworn, and I will perform it. Psalm 119-106. Why? Because pressure is coming. Offers are coming. Shortcuts will wink. And you must answer temptation with a pre-existing sentence. Honesty is my only policy. Tweet that to somebody. You can never disagree with this principle. Bind yourself to integrity before pressure binds you to compromise. Say it with me and write it as your rule of life. I do not lie. I do not steal. I do not cheat. I disclose assistance. I attribute sources. I keep agreements even when they are inconvenient. I honor policies that govern my field. I do not present machine output as my unaided work where human authorship is required. I do not rent brilliance and sign my name to the lease. If a tool touched the task, my audience will know it. This is not suggestion. This is standard. Let your yes be yes and your no, no. Matthew 5:37. Now the verification vow. Write it down. Before I sign my name, I personally check facts, citations, and logic. I test claims. I trace quotes. I confirm sources. I am the final reviewer of anything that carries my signature. Test everything. Hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Why? Because your name is a warranty. Proverbs says, whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9, security lives in verification. Anxiety lives in assumption. Walk securely, verify. Character is self-imposed discipline. Lock yourself in the prison of your convictions. Tweet that to somebody right now. Some of you need a jail you built for yourself. Chain your impulses to your principles. Chain your timelines to your truth-telling. Chain your invoices to your honesty. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That means sometimes the vow will cost you a bonus, a deadline, a deal. Pay it. Better a lost contract than a lost conscience. Better a delayed launch than a damaged name. One who is faithful in a very little is also faithful in much. Luke 16:10. Vows in the small make you safe in the large. Print your creed and put it by your screen. Honesty is my only policy. Attribution is my agreement. Disclosure is my default. Add this line: I would rather redo the work than misrepresent the work. Add this one: if I cannot preach my process, I will not publish my product. These are not slogans, they are seat belts. They do not slow you down. They keep you alive when speed increases. And here, the bridge into wisdom. Vows live or die by your boundaries. Write it down. Promises without guardrails are poetry without pavement. To keep these vows, you will prune what provokes compromise. You will design routines that make truth your reflex. You will delete what weakens, distance what tempts, and design what strengthens. Because the next step of integrity is architecture, pruning, and guardrails that keep your convictions stronger than your temptations. Now we build the architecture. Write it down. Guardrails keep your convictions stronger than your temptations. The prudent see danger and hide. The simple keep going and pay the penalty. Proverbs 22:3. You can never disagree with this principle. Vows without boundaries are invitations to fail. So here is the threefold protection plan. Delete, distance, design. Tweet that to somebody right now. Delete the triggers. Uninstall the apps that bait you into shortcuts and secrecy. If a tool trains you to lie faster, erase it. If a browser mode makes you bolder in the dark, disable it. If a plug-in whispers no one will know, remove it before it removes your peace. Jesus said, if your right eye causes you to sin, tear it out. If your right hand causes you to sin, cut it off. Matthew 5:29-30. That is radical pruning. Hebrews says, lay aside every weight and sin which clings so closely. Hebrews 12:1. Some things are not sin by category, they are sin by effect. They make you someone you are not. Delete them. Better to lose a convenience than to lose a clean conscience. Distance yourself from compromises. Some friends, threads, and channels must go. Do not be deceived. Bad company ruins good morals. 1 Corinthians 15:33. If a group chat shares leaked exams, leave. If a forum trades ghost-written prompts and forged citations, unsubscribe. If an influencer normalizes deepfake deception, unfollow. Blessed is the man who walks not in the counsel of the wicked, Psalm 1:1. Counsel is not just a person, it is a feed. Who is mentoring your mouse? Who is discipling your scroll? Create distance before their culture becomes your character. Write it down. Distance is not arrogance, it is stewardship. Design friction into your flow. Make truth the path of least resistance. Add review steps, logs, and checklists before submission. Build a disclosure line at the top of your drafts. Install an attribution field that cannot be skipped. Keep a prompt journal with dates, versions, and sources. Require a 24-hour cool-off rule before major submissions. Institute a 2-signature rule on deliverables, creator and verifier. Make no provision for the flesh, Romans 13:14. In this age, make provision for the truth. Ponder the path of your feet, then all your ways will be sure, Proverbs 4:26. Friction does not slow excellence. It prevents accidents. Document it, timestamp it. Let your process preach your purity. Now, the golden rule that collapses the fog. Never do anything you don't want anyone to find out about. Write it on your lock screen. Teach it to your team. Luke 12:2 says, nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. Walk in the light now, and the light will not terrorize you later. If we walk in the light, we have fellowship. 1 John 1-7. Light builds trust. With pruning complete and guardrails in place, we are ready for dominion without deception. Now, we can let AI be a servant, not a thief, an extension of our service, not a replacement for our sincerity. Image before dominion. Honesty is my only policy. Prepare yourself next. We deploy power under principle, and let your gift lead with integrity. Now we deploy. Image before dominion means gift before gadget. Write it down. Your gift is your leadership fruit. The tree is you. The fruit is your service. AI is not the sap, it is the basket. It helps you carry what you grew. It cannot grow what you carry. A man's gift makes room for him and brings him before the great. Proverbs 18:16. Tweet that to somebody. Let AI carry the fruit. Don't let it counterfeit the orchard. If the tree is rotten, a shiny basket won't save the harvest. Character feeds the roots. Discipline waters the soil. Tools only move the produce. So how do we use the servant well? Use AI to draft, to think, not to deceive. Let it provoke questions, surface counter-arguments, outline options, expose blind spots. Then you do the work of judgment. You verify, you synthesize, you author. Use AI to translate, to include, not to impersonate. Make your message accessible across languages and abilities. Closed captions, clear summaries, alt text for images so that more people can eat from your tree. But do not hide the assistance or mimic a voice that is not yours. Use AI to analyze, to improve, not to plagiarize. Let it critique clarity, flag logical gaps, suggest sources to review. Then you read the sources, cite them, and write in your voice. Whatever you do, work heartily as for the Lord and not for men. Colossians 3:23. Heartily means honestly. Service is the lens. Aim your tools at others. Clarity is service. Accessibility is service. Speed with integrity is service. Leaders are servants with standards. As each has received a gift, use it to serve one another as good stewards of God's very grace. 1 Peter 4:10. Your gift is grace on display. Let the tool make you faster for their sake, not faker for your sake. If your process cannot bless your audience in the light, it will betray you in the dark. There is no such thing as a private life. Lead with your life. Here is a maxim to write on your wall. Tools amplify skill. Only discipline amplifies soul. Write it down. Tweet it to somebody right now. You can never disagree with this principle. Skills without soul become tricks. Discipline turns talent into trust. AI will scale what you are. If you are a servant, it multiplies service. If you are a deceiver, it multiplies deceit. That is why we bind motive before we press generate. Out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks. Matthew 12:34. In this age, out of the abundance of the heart, the prompt speaks. So set your aim. Excellence for others, truth for God, transparency for your name. Put a disclosure line in your drafts. Add a verification step to your flow. Teach your team that the basket must never boast that it grew the fruit. Honesty is my only policy. Use AI to carry your competence farther, not to carry a mask longer, because everything we build now stands on the next foundation, your name as covenant. A good name is better than precious ointment. Ecclesiastes 7:1. Guard it. We will seal it next. Your name is not letters, it is a covenant. Write it down. Character is the weight of your words. Tweet that to somebody right now. If your words are light, your life is light. If your sentences float like foam, your future will float away with them. God measured Samuel by this law. The Lord was with him and let none of his words fall to the ground. 1 Samuel 3:19. Weighty words don't fall. They land, they build. They bear freight. Principles are laws, they never change. You can ignore this, but you can never disagree with it. Here is the signature test. Do not sign what you did not scrutinize. Your name is a warranty. When you sign, you say, I have seen, I have checked, I will stand behind this. If you stamp your name on unverified words, you counterfeit your own currency. By your words you will be justified, and by your words you will be condemned. Matthew 12:37. Emails, contracts, captions generated by tools, research summaries, budgets, code, commits. Your signature is your soul on paper. Don't lend your name to what your eyes did not examine and your conscience cannot endorse. Write it down. Inspection before inscription. Verification before signature. If your name cannot carry it, your platform must not publish it. We live in a reputation economy. Noise is cheap, trust is rare. Make your name a safe place, a refuge in the storm of hype. A good name is to be chosen rather than great riches. Proverbs 22:1. Why? Because riches promise comfort. A good name gives access. Riches buy things. A good name buys tomorrow. In crowded feeds and crowded markets, people are not looking for louder words. They're looking for heavier words. Words that arrive with evidence. Words that arrive with humility. Death and life are in the power of the tongue, Proverbs 18:21. So speak life and then live it. Lead with your life, then with your content. There is no such thing as a private life. If your life cannot preach it, your mouth must not post it. Make a covenant with your name today. Write it down. I will not sign what I have not scrutinized. I will not promise what my process cannot produce. I will not outsource responsibility for anything that carries my signature. If assistants touch this work, I will disclose it. If a source formed this thought, I will honor it. If a fact claims authority, I will verify it. He swears to his own hurt and does not change. Psalm 15:4. That means if truth costs me time, I pay time. If accuracy costs me applause, I pay applause. Honesty is my only policy. From this moment, let your name be heavier than your title. Let people say, if she signed it, it is safe. If he said it, it is so. Build that reputation one kept word at a time. And now we will seal this covenant with a public commitment and a final charge to lock in, live loudly, and lead boldly so your destiny can trust you with tomorrow. Technology changes. Principles don't. Tweet that to somebody right now. Write it down. Choose principles over popularity today, and your destiny will choose you tomorrow. We have set vows. We have built guardrails. We have honored disclosure and attribution, and now we lock it in. This is your final charge. Lead with your life. Live so that your methods can be a message. You can never disagree with a principle. It will outlast your mood, your market, and your moment. Live as if the whole world is watching, because it is. There is no such thing as a private life. Jesus said, nothing is covered up that will not be revealed, or hidden that will not be known. Luke 12:2. Walk in the light now, so the light will not terrorize you later. If we walk in the light, we have fellowship, 1 John 1-7. Integrity is oneness. The Lord our God is one. Be one. Be the same person in the draft and in the deliverable, in the DM and on the dais, in the lab and in the lobby. Honesty is my only policy. Now, the 90-day challenge, write it down. For the next 90 days, on every deliverable email, memo, slide deck, paper, proposal, video, code commit, practice the triad, disclosure, attribution, integrity, audit. 1, disclosure. Add a clear line that states what tools assisted and how you verified. 2, attribution. List the sources, data sets, models, licenses, and people you drew from names and links. 3, integrity audit. Keep a simple log. What you checked, when you checked it, who reviewed it, and what you corrected. Timestamp it. Sign it. Test everything. Hold fast what is good. 1 Thessalonians 5:21. Do this for 90 days until transparency becomes reflex and accuracy becomes instinct. Invite community into your convictions. 2 are better than 1. Ecclesiastes says 2 are better than 1, for if they fall, 1 will lift up his fellow. Ecclesiastes 4:9-10. Choose 2 people, a peer and a steward, a manager, professor, parent, or pastor. Give them your standards in writing. Let them review a sample of your work and your audit log monthly. Ask them to wound you if needed. Faithful are the wounds of a friend, Proverbs 27-6. Accountability is not suspicion. It is scaffolding while you build taller. Here is the blessing and the warning. Doors open for the trustworthy, deception shuts them permanently. Whoever walks in integrity walks securely. Proverbs 10:9. He who covers his sins will not prosper, but whoever confesses and forsakes them will obtain mercy. Proverbs 28:13. When God opens a door, no one will shut it, Revelation 3:8, but deception will disqualify you from entering rooms your name could have carried you into. Daniel's enemies looked for corruption and could find no ground for complaint because he was faithful. Daniel 6:4. Be that leader. So lock in, live loudly, lead boldly. Technology changes. Principles don't. Tweet that to somebody. Bind your day to your vows, your team to transparency, your name to weighty words. May the Lord establish your steps. Psalm 37:23. Favor your integrity and trust you with influence because your character can carry it. Go now, choose principle over popularity, truth over trend, image before dominion. Lead with your life and your destiny will choose you tomorrow.